Hello, Daycarn here, and welcome to Torment, Tides of Numenera. From what I know about this game, which isn't much, this is going to be possibly a long Let's Play. I know this is supposedly a sequel to Planetscape Torment. I never played that myself either. That's on the to-do list in the future. Yeah. I managed to pick up a physical copy of this, and if I know right about this game, it's going to be a lot of talk, me reading. So, I'll give you an option. Do you want me to read it all? Do you want me to terribly voice act it? Or let you read it yourselves? For the first couple of episodes, I'm probably going to be reading it, and then I'll go from there when I get your comments and stuff. But anyway, this is going to be a completely blind, so let's jump on in. Come on, you can do it. Okay, for games like this, I'll try and mix it up, so I'll play males, sometimes I'll play females, but for this round, let's go female.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you.
Okay.
Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important. As if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes.
Look at this body, look around. I'm gonna have a look around.
A white-pink fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside.
Okay.
The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tumble. You are falling, the world many kilometers beneath you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself. A corona of acid green and black energy playing around it.
That's not good.
The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that technically you probably fell from a thermospheric height. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes toward
Look at the horizon, flatten out. Try to judge how far. I'll dive towards the ground. Flatten out.
Instinctively, you spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
Try and remember what happened.
It's hazy. You were in a tall passageway, its sides slicked with dew, the air warm and moist, as if you were caught in the breath of a giant organism. You remember fleeing in fear and exhilaration, laughing through the terror. What was it that pursued
I have no idea.
Something ancient and cold, its coiling power the promise of oblivion. Its shadowed tendrils struck at you, and the walls where they landed were torn apart utterly, destroyed beyond any hope of repair. You leapt into a membranous cocoon and fell from the station, the moon. And then you were empty. But who were you? What was that creature? A word surfaces in your thoughts, and you seize it before it vanishes. The world fills your sight. You're about to hit.
What was the sorrow?
It hurts your mind to recall, but you push past it, a creature of the forgotten world seeking you out across the centuries. But it's not you it seeks, is it? It sought the man whose memories you shuffle through now, and you realize suddenly that you are not him.
Oh no.
You were who?
continue to search his memories, because this is handy to know.
If you somehow manage to sidestep everything you know about anatomy, physics, and death, and you are surprised to realize that you do know something about them, and you survive this fall, you suspect that you might be able to reawaken a dormant strength you sense inside you. But who could possibly survive a fall from this?
That's a good question.
You remember reaching an escape tube, and you remember being struck by a tendril of force, and then the fall. The fall. You open your eyes in time to see a riot of color around you, your descent barely slowed, and then agony flares throughout your body as a crunching impact destroys you. The last thing you hear is a rapidly cycling line of energy, and then darkness.
That's not good. Not good at all. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay. Move, interact, okay, that seems pretty basic. Okay, I do have to read. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl below. Let me start again. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Guessing this option? You've counted your first task. You have 3 stat pools, might, speed, and intellect. You can... Okay, pretty straightforward. Yeah. Okay. So it drains that. Right. Continue. Success. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth of the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Can't speak today. Sorry, I'll probably stumble a lot with my words. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello? Are you still alive down there? We are up here. Build a path up to us and be careful. Yes, chase the glowy orbs?
All right.
As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You had a moment's respite from the waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body is an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worst, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention? That's hardly your concern. The mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. This is taking too long. Fix it yourself. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-ported cells and the aquatic viewing area. What you seek lies here. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field calluses so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. This rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Disable the sonar pulse? You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jeweled force field. Almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shadow. You whip your head around and see only the inky blackness of a pig-skin eye. The memory begins to fade, as if you were being drawn backwards through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into the gap of your mind, but the edges are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey, at the far end of a dark, whispering field. And another glowing ball. Up we go.
Yes.
You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the others ones we've found? Draw attention... that one. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point out the thin bands radiating from the metallic disc. How the energy from those bands affect the local fauna, suggesting an enormous power source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. Is it geologically sound? Have you run sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses show up on your Renaissance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "Alright, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the platform to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the surveyor builds a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helped you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with her? Look for a deeper solution. A mist falls onto the plateau as you wrap a fiber shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from a transdimensional emission that might be in the air. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledge. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory fill the gap in your mind, block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memory hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift, one by one, on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. Seems interesting so far. I'm loving the art style. Okay, another glowing orb.
Yes.
A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the ways to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety. You need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Trade blows, duck under the giant, and swing before you can strike, fight defensively. That's it. The memory seems clear now. The giant is menacing, it is true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at a molecule level, tearing pieces of a target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you, her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up under her chin. You caught her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant, and he topples, bisected. Handy. The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more enemy soldiers beyond. Sneak through. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly. The sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeezing yourself through the narrow opening and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with a racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Up we go!
I'm going.
The border of the mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocking symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrush, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see vast crowds of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an insert a pentagram, can't speak today, tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discover within the orbs, and the choices you made shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, though some of the right doppelgangers ignore you. An even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling. Point at the doppelganger observing all the others. Yeah. No, cautiously moving through the crowd. Falling into a very well-balanced crash, the doppelganger creeps towards you, scanning its surroundings with suspicious eyes. Each movement it makes is slow, subtle, and deliberate. Yes, this is who I am. The remaining doppelgangers scatter from the edge of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity step forwards. Appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face extrudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around. Technology of several kinds. From a marriage of past ages, you have a feeling you would be comfortable with all of it. The words nano sound in your mind. And gain descriptor cautious. Your doppelganger continues to walk, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and locking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. The mirror fades, leaving a dark open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. All of that to get to character creation. Jeez. Your choices in memories. Okay. So saying I should be Nano. Let's have a look at the others. Okay, so a warrior. Jack of all trade. Nano. So Nano is pretty much the mage. That sounds about right. Sap pools, resources. Okay, you deal with strength, you deal with might, and you deal with, well, I'm guessing magic stuff, so intellect. Next. Okay. Abilities! Ooh, this is fun. Surface of most forts. Gain training in ciphers. I think that will be handy, especially getting around things, cause sneaky. Armor, this is that one. Next. Character creation. Okay. Creatures. Machinery? Okay. So I can change from cautious. Let's have a look. This one I was. Charming. Tempting. Nah. Probably. I'm sorry if I'm quiet. I'm just going over, working out what I want to. Mystical. So, cautious, charming, and mystical's catching my eye. Rugged. No. Slick. No. That sounds handy because it also gives me a little bit of access to a weapon. Stealthy. Yeah, that'll do. And with that, I'm probably gonna leave it here. This is already pretty long as it is. I'll see you next time. This is Daycarn signing off. Bye! I like my voice more, Simon. Ah!